Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something that has been requested by a lot of the viewers. We're starting the salting and the tanning process. So I'll be going over step by step. I'm going to start out from where we had the hide caped out, had the lips turned, the ears turned and all that. So this is a raw cape. We're going to take it out here and put it on the table, and I'll show you what kind of salt I use, and I'll go over the spreading the salt and all the areas you need to make sure you pay close attention to as far as getting salt in these areas to make sure that you cure the hide out. So y'all stick around here, we're gonna get everything set up. We'll be right back with you. Alright guys, we got this hide here. We're gonna get ready to start salting it. And one thing you want to do is make sure the ears are turned out all the way. And make sure your nose is split, your lips are split. And make sure they're turned all the way out to the edge as far as you can get them. And once you get all that turned out, you want to go around. I like to go around the cape here, and if there's any extra hide fat or any extra meat and fat, just take your knife and just start kind of trimming it away. You want to get all the majority of this off because you want that salt to be able to penetrate that skin. And then what that'll do, that'll lock the hair follicles into place. That way your hair don't come out. If you're new to taxidermy and or new to tanning, and you've been, kind of doing some research, you'll hear the terms, the hair slipping or slippage, and that's due to the bacteria getting in around the follicles. And what it does, it causes the follicle to turn loose, which in turn causes the hair to come out. And this salting process, it's going to dry out that epidermis of the skin and take all the moisture out, which in turn it locks that follicle into place, and which that'll make each hair lock in. And you should, once you salt this, what I'll do is I'll salt for 24 hours, and I'll come back, shake off all the excess, and then salt for another 24 hours. And then once you do that, you're ready to put it in the pickle. And the pickle consists of I use safety acid, and you're going to use you'll use safety acid mixed with salt with water. And what I usually do, I'll pickle for I'll set the pH. You want it between 1 and 2, and I'll pickle for 2 days. And on the second day, I will pull it out of the pickle, flesh it. And if you're just starting out, you can flesh it with a knife like I'm doing here, and a pair of scissors. That's one way for beginners to start out. Once you do that, learn how to kind of figure out what you're doing, you can order you a fleshing knife and get you a fleshing beam. That's how I started out years ago. I would flesh my hides with a fleshing knife. And if you stay in it, decide it's something you want to do, you can eventually move up to a fleshing machine. And I use fleshing machines now, but I still use knives, because when this cape's raw like this, you want to be able to go in quick and get this meat trimmed off, and then go ahead and get it salted down, because the longer it stays in a raw state, the more chance you got of bacteria setting in and hair slippage. You always want to try to work in a cool environment. Here it is, it's it's the end of summer, so it's still hot outside. We're still in the low 90s, upper 80s, and so you want to get this process done just as quick as possible. Like in this air conditioned building here, this hide was frozen. I laid it out last night, so here it is. It's been laid out now for about probably 16 hours, something like that. But like I said, you just want to go in, make sure you trim all this meat off. That right there, I mean, there's a lot of times, depends on who the processor is or whatever, a lot of times you'll have some excess meat on this skin. But you want to try to get as much of the big stuff off as you can, especially the fat. The fat it just kind of keeps the salt from penetrating. It'll just kind of lay up on top of that fat, and if you leave it on here, it'll never get down to the skin. But just take your time, take your knife, and just go down through here, just trim all this away. Like I said, it don't take just a few minutes go through both sides. A lot of times in the brisket area, which is right in here, a lot of times when they peel this hide off at the processor, sometimes they'll leave quite a bit of meat on there, and there's a kind of like it's a type of tallow or fat in that brisket area. Sometimes it can be kind of tricky about trimming it off, so you got to be careful, because if you get to run your knife through there too fast, you'll end up cutting a hole through the hide. But just take your time and just keep your knife sharp. Just keep it running around through here. A lot of times I just take my hands and just like you're skinning a deer, I want you to get you a piece started, just peel it away and start trimming it back. It's a pretty quick process. But we're gonna go ahead and get this trimmed up, and once I get this trimmed up, we're gonna take it out to the salting table, and I'll continue on from there. So y'all stick around here, I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, I'm out here in my skinning shop here now, where I do all my tanning. And what I use this is a bag of salt. I get it in a 50-pound bag, and this is made by Cargill, and it's called CMF salt. What it is calcium and magnesium free, and it's untreated. There's no iodine or nothing like that in it. And you want to use some type of salt like that where there's no kind of additives. You can use Cannon salt if you're just doing one hide or whatever. You can go to your local grocery store, hardware store. They usually carry it, feed store. Certain types of livestock salt you can use, just like the plain white livestock salt. I've seen a lot of people use that. I started out using like Cannon salt. I'd buy it in like I think it was a 2.5-pound box, and once I started getting more into it, I started buying it by the 50-pound bags. A whole lot cheaper, and it goes a whole lot further. But what you want to do is, I like to lay this hide out, and if you'll notice, I got a plastic table. I like using these. They're just like a patio table. That's what I use, because you don't have to worry about no kind of corrosion. As you know, salt's real corrosive. But what you want to do is just get you a liberal amount of salt, put it on here, and you just want to make sure you use plenty. Just coat everything down real good, and you want to make sure right here where you do your wide incision, when you cape it out, you just want to make sure that you get plenty of salt in there and around your ears. This skin right here is bad about folding over, so you want to kind of roll it out and work that salt in. And you just want to put a thick coating of salt all over this hide. And like I said, what we'll do, we'll put this salt on here, and we'll salt this deer hide down. And after the first day, we'll go back and we'll shake off all the excess salt, and we'll resalt it for a second time. And then we'll hang it up, let it drain overnight. And once you do this, like I said, you'll do it twice. Once after both times it's been done, then you'll be ready to put it in your pickle. And I'm gonna incorporate all that into this video, but I'm gonna have a video out doing the whole tanning process, so it may still be tied into this one. I'm not sure yet. I guess it depends on how long this one goes. I'm gonna try to keep them down to about 20 to 30 minutes a piece, just so you're not sitting there for an hour watching me do this kind of stuff. So y'all stick around here. I'm gonna get all this rubbed in. Like I said, just take your hand, just work this in. Make sure you flatten the hide out. If you got any wrinkles in it, just flatten it out and rub this salt in. And this first salting, this hide's still it's gonna be pretty wet. And once you hang it up, it's gonna get real wet, because you'll see within just about 15 or 20 minutes, it'll start drawing all the moisture out of this skin right here. So make sure you get your ears real good, your earbuds, and then especially right here on the face, take and make sure your lips are turned out right here. Your bottom lip, make sure it's rolled all out, and get you a handful of salt and just rub it in there and work it in that hide, and especially around your nostrils and your eyes, your eyelids, your eye skin. Just grab your handful of salt up and just you just want to coat all this real good. And like I said, make sure you rub around the eyes and get all that done. And it don't take just a minute to do this. I've almost got this side now salted. I'm fixing to get ready to flip it over and do the opposite side. And you may think you're wasting a lot of salt, but it takes quite a bit to salt the deer hide down. And when you get into the elk and bear and all that, it's going to take even more. And don't be stingy with your salt. This is, in my opinion, and you can probably ask anybody, you know, that fools a lot of tanning. To me, this salting process is one of the most important steps. It's one of the first steps, but at the same time, I think it's one of the most important. Because if you don't get that hair locked in, you've done, and you go through all this step and your hide ends up slipping, you've done all this work for nothing because your hide will be ruined. So you just want to make sure you get everything salted down real good. Make sure you get, like I said, make sure you get all the hide. Make sure you get it all stretched out, salted in. This is real easy to learn. It ain't no, you know, big tedious process. It's just a little bit bloody and a little dirty. So if you made it through the caping process, made it through that part of the blood, you're on the downhill slide once you get to this part of it. Like I said, you just want these real bloody spots right here. Just grab you up a little bit of extra salt. And really work that salt in, and it'll draw that blood and stuff right out of that skin. The salt sometimes, it sets up for a while and there's a lot of moisture in there. It'll kind of harden up and turn to get hard. You can get you a rubber mallet or a hammer or whatever and just kind of smash it and crush it up and it'll be alright. Like I said, just make sure around these ear butts, make sure you work this salt in real good right around this Y incision. If you make a Y incision here, or any type of incision, because that skin is real soft right there and it'll roll up on you and turn under. So, alright, we're working around this other part of these eyes now. As you can see, I got this deer, I hadn't poured any more salt out, so there's enough here left on this table to pick up and just rub it in. Get it worked in that nose and stuff real good, around that mouth. You can go around, scoop you up a handful and just keep rubbing it in, working it in. We want every part of this deer covered with salt. I'm going to flip it over and check this other side one more time. Make sure that you got plenty of salt on it, which it looks like I do. Keep rubbing it in, make sure I ain't got no leg skin or nothing folded up. That leg skin, it's kind of soft too, so you want to make sure you get a lot of salt rubbed in it real good. Down the face and the ears, like I said. Alright, that's pretty much got it salted down. I'm going to take it in here. I got a rack. I'm going to turn the camera off here, get the salt off my hands. I don't want to get my camera all messed up, but I'll move the camera here and let y'all see my salt rack, how that works. So y'all stick around, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I got it all salted down, and I've got it hung up on this rack here. And I don't know if you can see, but under this rack I've got like I think it's a 100-gallon Rubbermaid watering trough that I've converted into like a vat. I got it built on a stand here, and I got this wooden rack built here. I hang these hides up when they're salted, and this allows all the moisture to drip off in this vat. And in this vat I got to drain it. It drains out. But this is a pretty simple process. Like I said, just make sure that you use plenty of salt. And if you're doing, like I said, if you're just doing one hide or two hides, just go to, like I said, your grocery store, local hardware store, and get you some canning salt. I'd say probably if you get like a 2.5 pound box of salt to do a deer hide, just be on the safe side, I'd get 2 boxes. And that way, if you ever, you know, if you get, you'll probably have some left over, but you can use that on other projects, other hides. If you ever get into, you know, any small game, you can. Small game ain't gonna take as much salt, so you can use it there. But this right here, this is the first day that this is from a raw cape to the first stages of being a salted cape. So tomorrow night, I'll come back in here. I'm gonna shake off all this excess salt and resalt it, and we'll continue that on the second day work. So y'all stick around here. We'll be back for the second day. So stay tuned. All right, guys. Today, this is the second day after we've salted this deer hide. So we're gonna take and we're gonna pull it off the salting rack in here and take it outside here and shake it off. We're gonna shake all that excess salt off. And then what we'll do is, once we get all that off, we'll take and we've got our bag of salt here. We're gonna lay it back on the table and resalt it, and just do exactly how we did yesterday. We're gonna, you know, cover all the seams and the ear butts around the nose, mouth. So y'all stick around here. Let me get this shook off, and then we'll start salting it back down. All right, guys, we got the hide shook off. Got all the excess salt off of it here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take and I'm gonna here scoop us up some more salt. Just put us a pretty good bit on here, and just start rubbing it all back in, and work it all in these. Make sure you ain't got no skin folded over, but work it all out on this into the hide. And the second day salting, the salt's it's gonna seem like it don't stick as well as it did the first day, because it's already starting to dry out. But you just gotta kind of take your hand, just keep working it down into this hide right here, and just if you got any folds in the skin, stretch it out, and just keep working that salt on down in there. Like I said, don't be stingy with your salt. Salt's cheap, and if you have to redo one of these hides after you spent 3 or 4 days doing it in the process, and then if that hair slips out, then you just wasted all that time and salt anyway. So make sure you fold these ears over right here, and get you some salt and rub it in right here around this Y incision. It's bad about curling up on you and folding up. You want to make sure you work that salt down in there real good. And get it up in here around the nose, and do that eye skin again. And then around the antler burrs here, around where the pedicles are, work it in. And just make sure you keep this bottom lip turned out and keep it worked in there too, because that's a real place. That's a place where it's real easy to slip. The hair is liable to slip on it. So just take your time, work that salt in. And once you get it all water worked down that side, just flip it over. Some of these big chunks, you kind of work it around, but they'll bust up. Do the same thing on this side here, just right here where this skin will fold over behind this ear butt, just kind of stretch it out and take your hand, pack some salt in there and get all these ear butts real good. Work it around his eyes, where his eye skin is. And there again, get up here and work it in your nose. Make sure your lip line's got, make sure it ain't curled up. Get it good and stretched here. And work your salt in it. Rub it in there real good. Same goes for the other side over here. Stretch it out. Work your salt in there. I don't know if y'all remember from yesterday, but like down in here was like a real bloody spot. I cleaned it up as much as I could with paper towels before I brought it here and salted it. So this salt's drawing all that moisture out of it now. So it's doing its job. It's drying it, getting everything dried down real good. So like I said, just keep working it in here, working the salt in. In these ears real good. Alright, now we're going to take it in here and get it hung up. As you can see, I mean, this hide from yesterday to today is already turning a whole lot lighter color. It's drawing all the blood out and it's drawing all the proteins and all the liquid out of it. So we're going to take it in here and get it hung up, and I'll be right back with y'all here in just a few minutes. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of doing the salting process. I hope y'all enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something from it. If you got any questions, just send me a message here on YouTube, and as always, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification. That notification will let you know when I got new content up and available here on the channel. So we're going to close this out here. Like I said before, I want to try to keep these videos a little shorter, around 20 minutes or so. So the next step, the next video, it'll be the next step, which will be doing the pickling process. And I'm gonna break that down, show you step by step how I pickle the hides, and then how I do the fleshing part. And I'll probably go ahead and include going ahead and doing the tanning all in that same video, because that shouldn't take as long. I mean, it's gonna be a longer process, but the video will probably be, like I said, around 20 minutes or so. So as always, thanks for watching and God bless.